We actually live in a spiritual world. And the 3D world that we live in is simply a reflection of the spiritual world that we're living in. What we believe, what are we assuming about our lives? And the number one step is awareness. A lot of us are walking around like zombies. We are zombies. And this is why it's so important to pay attention. We need to be aware of who we're being. So we're going to notice our own patterns within ourselves. We're going to observe ourselves. We need to get that down pat. Because unless you know yourself, there's no way that you can change what you're not consciously aware of. And a lot of how we're operating in the world is based on unconscious beliefs. So that's why I'm so excited to bring this to you. It wasn't until I studied Neville that things in my life started transforming. But it wasn't his teachings that transformed me, even though his teachings are everything. It's the way I live my life now. But it's me operating the teachings. And it's me understanding who I am as God consciousness. All we're doing is we're taking this meat suit that we live in and we are directing our consciousness towards what we want. In every single moment, we are directing our awareness. We are creating our reality, but we're not doing the creating. Everything's already been created. And what we're doing is we are taking our awareness and we are appropriating it to what we desire. The problem is that we've been appropriating it to what we desire, and then doubt comes along, and then we appropriate it to the doubt. What we lack is a discipline of mind, and it happens. Okay, it happens. We're human. It happens. We're trying to figure out how we fit in this world, and this is actually how most of our beliefs came to us. We're just trying to figure out how this world works. And when we were babies, who were we learning from? Our parents, our teachers, family members, friends, television, the radio. Like we are constantly getting bombarded with everybody else's reality. When we're children, we're pretty much just at home, closest to the people that we love. And we're learning from them. In this moment, right now, you can decide to be anybody that you want to be. And it is only our doubt that prevents that from happening. And this is why we have to be singularly focused on what we want. And it's going to feel hard at first because your old man is going to try to pull you back. No, that's not who you are. Who do you think you are? That's not you. But we have to remain firm. This is who I am. God gave me the gift of free will to decide that this is who I am. And if we can remain firm in that and trust, faith and trust is such a huge part of this game because we've been conditioned to believe that we have to do everything on our own. We don't realize that we have backup that loves us so much and is there to support us in every single moment. And it is us that's constantly sending mixed signals. We got to be clear about what we want. We have to have confidence that we are who we say that we are. We have to rest. This is a huge thing. We have to rest. Rest in the knowing. Rest in that Sabbath state. Okay, the world is always going to show you, oh, this is who you should be. This is what's going to make you happy, especially with television and social media. It's constantly telling you what you need to be whole, what you need in order to make you feel like who you want to feel like. You don't need any of that stuff. What you need is a decision. And I'm not saying that any of that stuff is bad. I love luxury things. I love pretty things. And it's my right to have that if I decide. God gave us options, infinite options. And we are appropriating what we want by our awareness, by what we place in consciousness, by what we believe, by how we feel. Our feelings tell us exactly what state we are in that moment. And a lot of us don't have emotional intelligence. We're going to learn how to navigate our feelings. What is it trying to tell us? The feelings that we experience are not there to make our lives difficult. They're actually there as information. And we take that information, we process it. A lot of people don't like to process it. Who wants to process feeling terrible? No, we want to get away from feeling terrible as much as possible, right? And oftentimes that's when we ignore our feelings. That's when we suppress our feelings. But when we do that, that energy stays stuck in us. It becomes part of us. And we don't want that. Energy is constantly in motion. And what happens is when we suppress something or we don't face it, we don't deal with it, it stays stuck in us. And that becomes something that wants to get processed and wants to leave us, but we're not giving ourselves the opportunity to do that. So if you're feeling stressed or anxious or overwhelmed or confused, that's simply your indication telling you that you're seeing it in opposition of how the version of you that's living it would see it. That's all that it is. And so we're going to try to take the sting out of that as much as possible by saying this is a good thing that's happening. I'm very grateful for the way that I feel right now, even though it feels terrible, because now it's bringing to me conscious awareness of where I'm sitting right now. What am I believing? We need to reflect. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I triggered? Because it's information.